Hi guys, got the Mk2 Golf here. Going to be changing the old German Peerberg carb to a nice new Weber. Dad and Lad's garage. There's my Polish son Filippo Berio, half Italian, half Polish. There isn't a video. This is the 1.3 engine, 1991. But yeah, I have got the instructions that come with the carb, so I'm just going to follow them. It seems pretty simple, to be fair, pretty straightforward. Hopefully I'll be able to clip the GoPro on in a good place so you can see what's going on. I'll put a screenshot of the recording, of the information in the video. First of all, you've got to remove the air filter. That's when the music plays, yeah. I've just changed the oil. I'm going to be doing a service at the same time. That makes for a handy little tool catching tray actually. That stud's come out. Don't need it anyway. You do have to transfer a few bits off this carb onto the new carb just for the throttle cable. It's all in the instructions, but you do get to keep the standard air filter. Comes with an adapter plate to use the standard air filter. I've only just got the carb, but I'm doing the swap because the automatic choke doesn't seem very reliable. Bit hit and miss on the cold starts, and eventually I'll be doing an engine swap, but probably not for a couple of years. So as long as this engine's running good, then I'll keep it in there for a bit longer. There's a little flap in there that allows warm air to pass into the intake to stop the carbs icing over in the winter. Does look like it's all intact, so assuming that works. I think that must have a little wax, like a radiator valve, something that when it gets warm it closes it off, stops it from working. Speedo cable's seen better days. First stage in instructions is to remove these two water hoses and crimp them together, attach them together using this nipple. So far I've connected these two hoses together that were on these two spigots, and I've disconnected the throttle cable, but we need this cam to switch over onto the new carb. For the minute it's seized on and I don't want to snap it, it's made of plastic. And then it says disconnect the electrical connections, so disconnected those, and now should be able to remove this. Disconnected all the vacuum lines. We'll remove that and then I'll try and prise that plastic cam off. Might spill a bit of petrol here. Basically these have got an automatic choke, and they're not very reliable by the sounds of it unless they're brand new. Filippo's still trying to change his oil. Bought an absolute banger of a car. There we go, that's now free. And this little fuel bowl, I'm not sure if that's been swapped over onto the new carb or not. Guessing that takes away, it's a regulator I suppose, and it takes away any unwanted pressure back to the tank. So that's probably coming off and being attached to the new carb. Well, it will be, it's going to have to be. I'll whip that off, see if I can take that plastic cam off and undo that fuel pop reservoir. So a couple of things on the instructions are a bit misleading, but suggesting that that's a plastic fuel reservoir, and in fact it's metal, not a big issue, but it says that on the drawing there's a return and inlet on the carb, A and B, but in reality there's only an inlet, not a return on the carb. So I'm guessing I'm going to keep that return line as it is. Put that down for 1 minute. And this rubber block that now needs coming off, luckily you don't reuse that, but it's perished and actually split anyway, so it's only a matter of time before that starts sucking in air. So yeah, I'll try and remove that now and then the new one can go on. So I managed to get that rubber block off. There's some tricky nuts to get to underneath. I ended up jacking the car up and getting them from underneath, and now I've got this new adapter plate to fit, gasket in between. I have had to deburr this from new. There was a couple of nasty burrs on it where it's been machined flat, but no big deal, no big deal. Gasket in there, and then that bit there will bolt on in replace of the rubber bit, and then the carb will sit on top of that. Because the carb bolts onto that adapter plate like that, I'm going to bolt it onto it first, because it's going to be a lot easier than trying to do it in that little gap for sure. I'm going to bolt that on there first and then drop the whole lot on as a wanna. Came across a small hiccup. These studs that bolt into this aluminium adapter plate, one of them basically had strip thread, well, it stripped when I was doing it up. Obviously didn't obviously mean to do it, but anyway the thread stripped out, so I've ended up having to put countersink in it from upside down and then just sand it flush so it's definitely flush, because I haven't got any helicoils to suit, and it's only this shit cast aluminium base plate, but should do the trick. The carb's on. Now I've got to fit the choke lever to undo these 5 screws here, and I believe that there is the blank for where the manual choke cable will go. You just got to remove a screw to get at it, but we'll see how we get on. So yeah, there is a screw that holds the back of that on. It's a bit awkward to see, but you can just get a screwdriver in up the back there. You can't really see it on the video, but if you're doing the job you'll find it. And then that little square plate there with a screw holds that into there, and then you can slide the new choke cable into that hole, hit your retaining nut on the back, and yeah, so it's good factory finish. So that's the carb fully installed. Just connected the choke up, the throttle cable now goes on the other side, but that's all in place. And yeah, I can get full travel out the pedal without it putting any tension on the what's it called, on the arm. So all it's left to do is the air filter studs and the air filter mount. I've just started it up on the choke, it started up straight away. I'm going to replace that bit of Paris fuel line while I'm here, but before I put the air filter on, I'm going to change the spark plugs because they're nice and accessible now. The only thing that's irregular is this little pot and fuel regulator, pressure regulator, whatever it is, doesn't have any way of attaching to the carb as far as I can see. So that is just going to stay zip tied there for now. Maybe it could mount onto those 4 holes there, not sure. But yeah, pretty straightforward. The only thing I'm not too keen on is this aluminium plate right here. The stud, you know, because one of them the thread stripped so easy, I was very ginger about how much pressure I put on the nuts on the bottom of them. But they could be nutted and bolted all the way through. I think all 4 of them, you could put a nut and bolt all the way through on them if it comes to it. If it ever, I don't know, vibrates and comes loose, starts sucking in air through there. But yeah, I'm going to get the spark plugs changed. I've got a new rotor arm and a new distributor cap as well, because this one's looking pretty shonky. If you look in there, not sure if you can really see it, but there's some nasty grooves worn into these little pickups. They look really worn down. So yeah, I'm going to change the cap and I'm going to change the arm just to be, because it's cheap. That one I'll keep in the car as a spare, but I'll change it for now. It's all back together now. Changed the dizzy cap, changed the spark plugs, changed the oil, changed the air filter, changed the oil filter, obviously changed the carb, and now it's up to temperature. It's been running for a few minutes, got up to temperature. There's a little air mixture screw, air fuel mixture screw back here somewhere. I could probably not see it on the, it's hard to do with one hand, but anyway, at the back of the carb there's a screw. Gonna wind that in and out until I get maximum revs. You know, keep trying it, a quarter turn at a time, unwinding it till the revs peak, and then I'll bring it back down on a tick over to where it should be. I haven't got a rev gauge on this, so I'm just gonna have to do it by ear. Last thing to do, just take it for a test drive. Definitely less kangaroo-y when you pull off in second gear. Feels more responsive for sure. Slightly not that it's a fast engine, but they feel nippy for what they are, these 1.3s. Definitely smoother, definitely.